Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're diving straight into an explainer that is all about transforming your passive English knowledge into active, confident speaking. We're going to unpack some incredibly practical strategies you can literally start using today. And to bring this all to life, we'll be following the story of a guy named Daniel who used these exact steps to completely change his life and overcome his fear of speaking. Let's get to it.
So, picture this. You know your English grammar perfectly, but the moment it's time to actually open your mouth, total freeze. If your mind goes completely blank at a hotel desk or maybe in a job interview, despite knowing all the right vocabulary, you are absolutely not alone. Take Daniel, for example. He worked in a coffee shop, understood basic English perfectly, but when an international customer asked him a simple question, he completely froze up out of sheer nerves. It's a universal frustration, right? To fix that, today's explainer is going to serve as your practical toolkit. We'll quickly cover bridging the speaking gap, mastering your introduction, building a 15-minute daily habit, practicing with AI tutors, and finally, real-world roleplay.
All right, Section 1, Bridging the Speaking Gap. Let's look at how we can actually overcome that speaking anxiety, because this right here is the foundation of everything else we're going to discuss.
Now, the first major hurdle we face is realizing that fluency lives in your mouth, not your eyes. Passive studying, silently reading a textbook or just watching videos, is definitely valuable, but honestly, it just isn't enough. To speak confidently, you need active recall. You literally have to practice sequencing a conversation and fixing your mistakes mid-sentence, exactly like native speakers do. When Daniel realized this, he looked in the mirror and decided right then and there that he needed to start speaking out loud.
And as this awesome quote from the English Learners podcast points out, learning is not about being perfect every single day. It's about returning to the practice. You really don't need perfect pronunciation right off the bat. You just need to keep showing up. For Daniel, he wrote a simple motto in his notebook: small steps every day. And that consistency, it matters so much more than trying to speak flawlessly on your very first try.
Moving on to Section 2, Master your introduction. This is your absolute foundational step. What's really interesting here is that mastering how to simply introduce yourself forms the basis of basically all future interactions. Plus, it immediately lowers your anxiety in any new situation.
You see, before jumping into really complex conversations, you need to comfortably nail the basics, stuff like greeting people and just stating where you're from. Whether you're at a casual networking event, serving coffee like Daniel, or walking into a formal job interview, having a clear, grammatically correct introduction ready to go is like having a reliable anchor to keep you steady.
So think of your introduction as a simple four-piece puzzle that keeps you sounding organized and confident, completely avoiding those awkward pauses. First up, offer a warm greeting and state your name. Second, outline your location and role. Third, clearly explain your purpose, like why are you actually there? And finally, add a quick personal detail to build rapport, followed by a closing question to hand the conversation right back to them. Easy, right?
But hey, just be careful to avoid some of these really common introduction mistakes. Don't dump way too much information on the poor person, and try not to jump wildly between past and present tenses. A lot of learners get super nervous and literally start listing every single detail of their education and their entire family tree. Keep it concise, and never forget to state your purpose for the meeting. Otherwise, your listener is just standing there left guessing why you're even talking to them.
All right, Section 3, the 15-minute daily habit. Let's look at how you can build real consistency. You can develop incredible speaking skills with just a tiny fraction of your day. Seriously, you don't need hours and hours of study. You just need to be consistent.
This breaks down a highly effective 15-minute daily routine that requires no classroom, no tutor, and zero expensive tools. Like Daniel, who woke up 30 minutes early every day to practice, you can start by just talking to yourself out loud for 3 minutes to warm up. Then spend a few minutes shadowing a native speaker. After that, activate some new vocabulary by putting a few words into actual sentences. Spend 2 minutes answering a random question out loud. And finally, take 1 minute to summarize what you just did. It's fast, it's focused, and it's incredibly effective.
Now, a crucial part of that routine is shadowing. This is an amazing technique that naturally improves your rhythm and flow without obsessing over rigid grammar rules. When you shadow, you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat after them. You aren't just learning words here, you're learning the actual music of the language. You hear how native speakers connect their words and where they place their stress, and you just mimic it instantly.
Section 4, Practicing with AI tutors. So, what if you want dynamic, unpredictable practice, but without the pressure of a human audience staring at you?
Well, this is where technology completely changes the game.
Check this out. By feeding a highly detailed prompt into an AI like ChatGPT, literally instructing it to act as a supportive conversation coach that provides gentle corrections, you instantly create a personalized 24/7 conversation partner. What's brilliant here is that you're instructing the AI to ask you open-ended questions one at a time, keeping the dialogue flowing totally naturally, just like a real friend would.
Honestly, AI tutors are an incredible secret weapon. They offer endless patience, which allows you to fumble through sentences again and again until you get them right. They're available at 2 in the morning, they have zero fear of judgment, and they can simulate the totally unpredictable nature of a real back-and-forth conversation. It is the absolute perfect bridge between practicing alone in your room and talking to a real stranger.
And finally, Section 5, Real-World Roleplay. This is where we take all of these skills and apply them to specific, high-pressure scenarios to really build that muscle memory required for real life.
To get the absolute most out of your role-playing practice, there are some golden rules. First, make sure you're standing up so you can really project your voice. Second, never stop to translate words in your head. Read your scenario once, close the paper, and just go for it. If you forget a word, talk around it. That is exactly what fluent speakers do when they blank. Remember how Daniel's manager challenged him to serve international customers? Daniel literally spent 7 days running these exact kinds of solo role plays so he wouldn't freeze up when it mattered.
And when you are practicing, there are some very common real-world traps you definitely want to avoid. For example, sounding unintentionally aggressive at a restaurant by saying "I want" instead of "I'd like." Or maybe calling a doctor and just saying you feel sick instead of describing specific symptoms like being dizzy. Recognizing these errors in your role plays means you won't make them when you're actually at the hotel desk, on a phone call, or helping customers in a coffee shop on your big day. So, knowing that fluency lives in your mouth and not in your eyes, it's time to take action. Thank you so much for exploring this explainer with me. Now, it is totally up to you to set a timer, open your mouth, and take that very first step toward confident speaking. Just like Daniel did, it's not about being perfect, it's just about returning to the practice and taking small steps every day. So, what 15-minute speaking habit are you going to start right now?